Here's what no one really prepares you for when it comes to dating after losing a partner. It's not the same as starting over. People will tell you, just get back out there. Like it's as simple as downloading an app or saying yes to dinner. But when you've shared your life with someone for years, that love doesn't just disappear. It shows up in the way that you still think about setting an extra plate at dinner time, or shows up in the way that you talk or think about vacations or won't even think about it, or the way you smooth out the other side of the bed even when no one sleeps there. Your history is always present. And when you start to date again, the person sitting across from you is going to feel that. And that's not a bad thing. It's a sign of how deeply you've loved. But if you're not intentional about how you carry that history forward, it can make dating a lot harder than it has to be. And don't get me wrong, it's not because there's something wrong with you, but because you haven't yet made the space for something new to grow. So today we're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss what really happens when you date after losing a partner. We'll talk about what readiness looks like, how your home and your conversations can either invite or block new love, and what to do when family members have opinions. And we've got a lot more to talk about too. If that sounds at all interesting, I hope you'll stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Let's get this part straight right from the start. Dating again doesn't mean you've moved on. That phrase alone sets people up for guilt, and it's just not true. You don't move on from a person who was your partner in life. You don't erase them or close the door or pack them away. What you do is you move forward, and that's a huge difference, right? Moving forward means your love is still a part of you, always will be, while you also choose to keep living. Think of your life as a book, and the chapter you shared with your late partner is written in permanent ink. That chapter doesn't vanish, but turning the page doesn't erase it either. It just means you're willing to write the next chapter too. I've worked with a lot of clients who've lost their partners and struggle with this exact feeling. One gal was telling me that she kind of felt like signing up for a dating app was cheating. And another said that even just accepting a walking with a cup of coffee date left her feeling overwhelmed and with guilt. You know, those reactions are normal, but they're also based on the idea that new love replaces the old, and it doesn't. If the roles were reversed, what would you want for your partner? Would you want them to stop living the moment you were gone, or would you want them to carry your love with them and still find joy, laughter, and connection in their life? I mean, for most people, the answer is clear. Moving forward isn't betrayal. It's honoring life itself. Now, here's where we need to get honest, because just wanting companionship, that doesn't always mean that you're ready for it. And knowing the difference matters. You're probably not ready if you're still crying yourself to sleep most nights. You're not ready if every conversation you have circles back to your late partner. You're not ready if the thought of holding somebody else's hand makes you feel sick, or if sitting across from somebody new feels like betrayal. That doesn't mean you'll never be ready. It just means that you're not quite there yet and you're still healing. And I think forcing yourself to date before you're ready usually ends up in hurt for both you and the person that you're meeting, possibly. I mean, I've seen it happen. Somebody pushes themselves into dating too early, and halfway through the first date, they realize they can't do it. They either back out or they abruptly leave, and the other person's feeling like, what did I do? I think you need to be honest, and if you're not ready, take that as a signal, a sign to focus on yourself. Spend more time with friends and join a group or try a new hobby, travel. Rebuild your routines so that they reflect who you are now, because when the day comes that you can sit with somebody new and really see them, not just the absence of somebody else, that's when you'll know you're ready. Your home tells a story. And when somebody new steps into your space, they're not just seeing furniture and paint colors. They're feeling the story that your home is telling. If every room is filled, top to bottom, with reminders of your late partner, it might unintentionally send the message that there's no space for anybody else in your life. That doesn't mean you need to pack away every photo or hide your memories. Those pictures and keepsakes are certainly precious. We know that. They're part of your life story. But creating balance in your home makes it easier for somebody new to feel welcome there. Maybe you keep a few favorite photographs in the living room and move the others into an album that you can pull out when you want to share. Maybe you refresh the bedroom so it feels like a reflection of who you are today, not just a time capsule of yesterday. I mean, this isn't about erasing your history or a person. It's about creating room for new memories alongside the old ones. Because the person who comes into your life now wants to feel like they can be part of your story too, not just a visitor in a house that already belongs to somebody else. Okay, let's move from your home to your conversations. Because just like your walls can be filled with memories, so can your words. Of course, you should be able to talk about your late partner. They were central to your entire life, right? Pretending they didn't exist isn't honest. But if every story you tell, every dinner you share, every moment of connection turns into a memory about the past, then your new partner is going to eventually feel invisible. Think about it from their perspective, right? Their side. They can't compete with somebody who's no longer here. A memory always wins because it's preserved at its best. But a living, breathing person has quirks and flaws and human moments. If they feel like they're constantly measured against a memory, they're going to pull back. Wouldn't you? So share when it makes sense, but also shift your focus. Ask about their stories, learn about their history, create new memories together. If you notice that your late partner's name comes up more often than the name of the person sitting across from you, that's a sign. Doesn't mean you're wrong, it just means you might need to create more space for the present. One of the hardest parts of dating again is timing. There's no calendar that says at 12 months you'll be ready or at 5 years you should move on. The heart just doesn't work on a timeline, right? Some people feel open to companionship sooner than they ever thought possible. I've had clients who've come in 2 months after their partner's passed, and they're in a great place to date. Definitely made room in their lives to start a next chapter. But everybody's different. Whatever your time frame, it's normal. What matters isn't how much time has passed, it's whether you can sit across from somebody new and be fully present with them. And of course, just when you're figuring this out for yourself, there are going to be people around you who want to weigh in. Opinions. Friends and siblings, even your grown kids. Somebody's going to say, oh, it's too soon. But here's what they don't see. Maybe you two spent 2 years grieving while your partner was ill, long before the actual loss, like my client. Maybe you and your partner had conversations in private where they encouraged you to keep living, even to find companionship again when the time was right. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe either way, no one else knows the full story the way you do. Other people's opinions are just noise. You're the one who knows your own heart. You're the one who decides. So instead of asking, is this too soon by their standards? Ask, am I ready to be fully present with somebody new? I mean, that's the only timing question that really matters. I think adult children bring out a different layer of complexity, though, because they've lost something too, someone too. Not in the same way you have, but in their own way. And when you start dating again, it can stir up emotions that they didn't expect. Some kids worry that dating means that you're trying to replace their mom or their dad. Others feel very protective, afraid that you're going to get hurt. And some just aren't ready to see you with somebody else. And while their feelings are real, the decisions are still yours. You're not dishonoring your late partner by seeking companionship. You're not betraying your kids by wanting a connection like that in your life. You're simply being human. The best approach is honesty and reassurance. Let them know that the love you shared with their other parent will always matter, that nobody's going to replace that. and that dating again is about adding joy to your life, not subtracting from theirs. I mean, they may need some time to adjust. That's okay. The key isn't to let their discomfort stop you from living your life. I mean, your happiness matters too, right? Here's something that people don't always talk about out loud anyway, but it's real. Being physically close to somebody new can feel complicated. For a lot of people, it's been years since they've been physical or even held hands, been hugged maybe, or kissed somebody. And when it does happen again, it can bring up all kinds of feelings: warmth, awkwardness, guilt, even laughter that covers up the nerves. And this doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means your heart and your body are adjusting. Affection is part of building connection, but you don't have to rush it. Take your time and be honest with the person that you're dating if something feels new or tender. I mean, a thoughtful partner will understand. What matters most isn't pushing yourself faster than what feels right for you, and also not shutting down out of fear. Closeness can be rediscovered slowly in steps, and a hug, a quiet evening together, and over time it begins to feel natural again and can grow into a full-fledged physical relationship. Another reality of dating again is that the calendar doesn't erase itself. Birthdays, anniversaries, the date of your partner's passing, those dates are going to carry weight. And when you're in a new relationship, those dates can feel complicated. Maybe you want space to honor them privately, or maybe you want your new partner to understand without feeling excluded. The key here, you know what I'm going to say, is communication, right? A simple, next week is my anniversary and it's going to be a little tender for me, goes a long way. It's not about making your new partner responsible for your grief. It's about giving them context so they don't misread your emotions. And over time, you might find new ways to mark those dates with family, with reflection, or quietly on your own. What matters is acknowledging them honestly, while also making space for the life that you're living and building now. And this one might be the most important shift of all. When you've had a great love, it's natural to measure new relationships against it. But no one can live in constant comparison. Memories are perfect. They don't argue. They don't forget to pick up milk. They don't snore. A living partner, being human, will. And if they're always measured against a version of somebody frozen in memory, they'll never feel like they measure up. The truth is, a new partner isn't meant to replace the one you lost. They're meant to be themselves. Different doesn't mean less. Different doesn't mean better. Different just means different. And sometimes different is where new joy lives. One small shift that helps is in language. Instead of saying, my wife always said or always did, try this. In the past, I loved. The way you honor your history without putting your new partner in a competition that they can't win. In fact, I tell my clients all the time that they need to shift, even for first dates, how they tell stories. Like, you don't tell a story about your trip to Hawaii with your partner who's passed by saying, oh, we loved to go here, we did this, oh, she really loved when we went to the luau. You start to tell stories from your own perspective. You have to look at them a little differently to just change the way you talk about them. It's still honest, and it's not cutting somebody out. It's just focusing on your own experience and sharing it in that way. Dating again after losing a partner isn't about forgetting or replacing or erasing. It's about making room in your heart, in your home, in your conversations, room in your future. Because most of the challenges come down to space, either not realizing how much the past is still filling or not creating enough for the present. So be honest about your readiness, create balance in your home, share memories without living in them, and go at your own pace, no matter what relatives say. Be tender with intimacy and handle milestones with honesty. And above all, let your new love be different without demanding that it be the same. You can love again without loving less. I hope you found that helpful. If you did, you might also enjoy this episode. It's about the other side of dating somebody who's lost a partner, and there are some lessons for you there. Hey, before you go, my little mama here, she's asking for it, the thumbs up, in the same way she used to ask me to finally clean out the closet I had in my bedroom. All right, never mind. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave because, hey, in 2025, apparently that's the grown up way of saying, I'll call you. I appreciate you hanging out with me today, and until next time, have a good one.